Last Pint Productions presents the New Way podcast. The New Way contains adult content, including a 40-year-old geek, a musical tribute, and, of course, Bird Box. I mean, we wouldn't be allowed to exist if we didn't talk about Bird Box. God forbid there was one pop culture show on the whole of the interwebs that didn't mention the frickin' Bird Box. But no! Gotta talk about Sandy Bullock and her magnum opus. Ugh. Anyway, listener discretion is advised. Bird Box.
You know, when I was little, we had a boat just like this. And every single summer we would take it to the lake. You guys would have loved it up there. They had trees, they had flowers. The water was warm, the clouds were in the sky. We'd all play in the water. All the kids, all the children would all just run up and down the shore.
The other children in the wall?
Yeah, just like you. Just like you. Just like you. Like you.
Everybody wants to be naked and famous. Everybody wants to be just like me. I'm naked.
Will you help teach me about this? What is it? A new way?
Happy New Year! Happy 2019, folks!
Welcome to
More
the year
importantly,
2019 of our Lord.
Well, more importantly, happy 40th, man. Happy 40th birthday!
Happy
to
birthday
Matt. Happy. It's copyright free now, isn't it?
It is copyright free now.
Right, we won't get sued.
Well, we're going to get sued for something at some point for the many things that we don't ask permission
Fingers
for.
crossed. We could use the publicity.
But, yeah, well, I actually looked up the other day to see what presidents of the USA were up to be like, hey, maybe if I just wrote them and said, hey, I've been using your song because we're a big fan of your band. Maybe they'd think it was like cute or endearing. And I found out the lead singer is like a children's song entertainer now.
Yeah,
like
cool.
He does. I didn't know that. He has like a whole career with it.
Yep, that's been going on for a while now.
And
That's
apparently
great.
whoever owns that also owns the Pusa stuff. So now I'm not going to contact him because he might actually get litigious with us. Who knows?
I feel like maybe he's behind Baby Shark.
He could have been. He'd be a good Baby
Right?
Shark guy. He'd
I think
be a good
so.
version of that with a 6-string guitar. I think that would be great.
Him and Raffy should tour
Two-string
together.
guitar.
2-string. Well, he has a 2-string and a 6-string, right?
Well, no, the presidents played with a 2-string guitar and a 3-string bass.
There we go. I don't know anything about music, so
That's what they did.
apparently. Anyway, welcome back to the New Way podcast.
It's hitting the ground running.
It's 2019. So much stuff has happened since the last time we were on the podcast.
The three of us have not seen each other in like 2 weeks, 3 weeks,
Forever.
Like it's been a long time.
I can't see anybody at all right now.
Oh, yeah,
I'm bird boxing.
So let's get this out of the way so that we don't have to discuss it again in the podcast. Nick, so now that we've decided to be airing our podcast with video, which we have our first one up now on YouTube, we did video of the Ben's birthday Did I actually hit the record?
More holiday party than Ben's birthday, but I was the honorary guest.
You know what? I forgot to hit record on that, but I just did it now. So welcome, video viewers. We'll work the beginning of the show into that one. That'll be just fine. But
There you go.
it's
I
not
thought
a
you
well-oiled machine.
I thought you meant you hadn't pressed record in the actual podcast.
No, podcast has been going for 2.5 minutes. Video.
Good, because our chemistry was sparkling. It was a well-oiled machine.
You can tell we've been off for a few weeks.
Well, so you can now see. So actually, you know what it was? The opening of that was our Bird Box opening. So people at home could feel like what it used to be like in the dark ages before we had video with our podcast. That was expert.
in
working
my
back
day,
with me.
we used to listen to podcasts and we liked it.
So Nick has fashioned himself a blindfold to take the Bird Box challenge. Bird Box, of course, is the movie you absolutely have heard of because you can't not hear about Bird Box. It is fucking everywhere. And
I heard about it through memes.
Did you hear
I had no idea.
about how many people have watched it now?
a ridiculous number of people.
45 million.
Damn.
So if this movie was released on the same date in theaters and that many people, of course, they wouldn't go see it in theaters because that means the whole thing.
Yes.
But it would
Yes.
equate to the highest grossing movie of all of 2018.
Yes.
Jesus.
It's insane. People were like,
That's
look,
the power of social media, man.
you find Sandra Bullock's bird in your box and you just say, I'm going to watch it. So bitch box and birds. But yeah,
I just saw the meme of her in the boat with the blindfold about, just me going through 2019, ignoring everything. And that's the meme that you keep saying. And I didn't know that was Bird Box until, 5 minutes before I saw the movie, and as soon as I connected it, I was like, okay, time to fire it up. I can't not know what a pop culture reference means.
Well, Ben had asked me if I'd seen the preview, and I remember it had popped up on my feed, but I hadn't watched it yet. This was like in like mid-December. Early December.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, yeah, okay, it looks like Quiet Place meets The Thing meets The Happening, basically.
It's like a reverse Quiet Place.
Yeah, I mean, well, there's a lot of happening in it, too, which I find kind of interesting. It is a very similar theme to The Happening, other than the fact that it's
I never saw The Happening.
The Happening, it happened back in 2008, but the Happening had that great sequence. So I remember when they were marketing The Happening, when it came out, it was like, this is M. Night Shyamalan's first rated R movie, and it's going to be so dark.
That was nice.
And it ruined his career.
Yeah, it broke him.
Ruined his career because it was after he made, it was after he had done
The Village, where he had started.
He'd done
Lady in the Water.
Lady in the Water.
Oof.
And so
that was bad.
No, but which I don't even mind that movie that much. But The Happening is like
it ruined his career. See Glass opening in theaters soon.
No, but actually, for temporarily there, The Happening is the movie that absolutely just kind of wrecked him because it was like it's going to be this dark new thing, and what it take. And they sold it on this like 3 minutes at the beginning of the movie where all these people start committing suicide randomly, like jumping off. It's just all whatever. Okay. And then it turns into the most nonsensical, like completely batshit, just weird and unintentionally funny movie.
It's the trees, man. The trees are making everyone. It was basically like an environmentalist message, I guess, for the
that was
thing.
awful.
I guess that is like Bird Box.
It is a ton. It's exactly like the opening of the movie is exactly like Bird Box.
So have we all seen Bird Box?
You saw it, right, Ben?
I fell asleep for the last 30 minutes.
Okay, but you saw the beginning, which is The Happening.
Yes, it's The Happening.
They see something and it makes them kill themselves,
Yes.
and then they realize they have to close their eyes to not see the thing.
Yeah.
The only difference is The Happening is the trees are making them do something. It's a little different.
They're releasing spores, and
But I mean,
I dug Bird Box, man. I totally dug it. I enjoyed the movie a lot. You guys didn't like it?
I was fine with it. I don't like her, but I thought I was okay with it.
I thought it was fine for what it was. Same, but I still haven't even seen A Quiet Place. And Beth and I got into an argument because we were like, I was like, why don't we watch A Quiet Place? And she was like, well, let's watch Bird Box. And I was just like, why? She said, I want to understand what the memes are.
Right on, Beth.
Yeah,
and
okay.
I said, but A Quiet Place is a much better rated movie and has much better reviews.
But
and
the
people
different
seem to enjoy it more.
I will defend her in that the Bird Box could be ruined for you. No one's going to ruin A Quiet Place for you anymore.
I guess
So watch Bird Box and go watch A Quiet Place. It's a better. They're very different movies.
But she won't watch A Quiet Place because she says it's going to be too scary. I was like, why did we just watch Bird Box then?
Bird Box wasn't really scary. Well, the other thing I didn't get about Bird Box
Let's just put The Office on mute.
I'll be honest. One of the reasons why I watched Bird Box, the same as Beth, is I kept reading all these things that like twists and this all stuff. So I was concerned that that something was going to be spoiled for me. But there's nothing you can spoil in that movie. Like I don't feel there's anything in there that is not there's no twist.
Well, that's what I liked about it.
Yeah,
I
was
was
very straightforward.
stoked that there wasn't a crazy twist. That I kind of what little I knew about it, they expanded on, and they just relied on.
I liked Malkovich, of course.
It was told.
yeah.
It was told non-linearly. I'm like, so you're just not used to non-linear storytelling now, or I mean, I have no
not
idea.
the whole movie.
Well, I guess.
Yeah, the whole movie, pretty much until the last act was done.
Yeah, you start with her in the
non-linearly.
raft at the end of the story.
Yeah,
and then
I remember that, but I mean, they stopped.
The rest of it goes in
jumping.
order. Yeah.
Well, it just keeps bouncing.
Yeah,
back
yeah,
and
it just
forth.
goes back and forth between the two times.
Bird bouncing.
Bird boxing.
Bird bouncing.
My favorite meme was the one that had D boxing Frank from Sunny in Philadelphia, and it was called Bird Boxing.
That's great.
Just good stuff. But we got through Bird Box. That was good. That only took us 8 minutes.
So what? 42 million people saw that movie
over 45.
over
yeah.
45 million,
And-
because of memes, because of likes and shares.
Sure.
So, hey, if you're enjoying the podcast, like us on Facebook, share our posts, and maybe we can get 45 people.
I mean, share us blindly if you want to.
Yeah.
Let's go for it.
There you go.
There it is.
Right back around to where we started.
So since I first of all, I do want to draw attention to the fact that our final podcast last year was a very ambitious event that we attempted to pull off, which we actually pulled off.
It worked.
And we did video and everything. Nick even got to call in live on the show, even though he was up in the roof.
My favorite part of the video feed is obviously it was a pre-recorded bit. Listen, I'll break the illusion, everyone. I wasn't actually on the roof calling in, Skyping in, and I love it. You're just in this frantic, like rushing in new guests, and Ben like totally not amused by the recorded segments, and then finally when I called in for real, he kind of perked up a little bit. But
that was my favorite part of the video was absolutely breaking the illusion 100% of Nick supposedly calling in, and it's just me there's just me making hand signals all the time, and
you could just put down your headphones and then you're like landing an airplane in here.
it definitely helped you like stay on schedule though. It was a good excuse to like take your headphones
Honestly,
off. And,
I would do it again. Like with
I bet you would. Guess what? That required me to come in and record with Matt for an hour and a half and not make the podcast live.
We didn't. No, I would like to do another party podcast, I think, at some point.
I would like to be at one.
It was a lot. It was. I will not lie. It was. What are you doing? You put those shoes back on right now.
What are you, Paul Mamalito? Was Paul wearing socks during that podcast? I couldn't tell. Does he not wear socks anymore?
He's not a big sock guy. Hey, if he wears them, they're no shows.
Is that like the Italian in 1991?
Ben,
Italian tourist?
Why is your penis out, Ben? What are you doing?
What are you talking about?
Wait, let me take out my. Oh, you're trying. You're not going to get me.
is.
Listen, if Sandra Bullock can make it that entire movie without taking off her
She didn't make the
blindfold
entire movie. She made the end of that movie.
when she was outside.
Yeah, but she wore it inside.
Listen,
but she was
all
having
I'm
the sex.
saying is if Sandra Bullock can do it, I can do it too. I'm going to last the whole podcast.
Because you're a man and a woman.
And
did
I'm
it?
going to need, and I'm going to need another glass of bourbon. So I'm going to need you to like talk about landing a plane, Ben. That's your job. Help me know.
God, this is going to end terribly.
Do you have paper towels?
We do. Eventually. So, Ben, what did you get up to over your Christmas vacation time?
Not a whole lot. Just
Holiday road.
with a family, all you do is pretty much just try and survive the holidays, and then
A grind of happiness.
recuperate afterwards.
Did you get any good presents? Any good gifts?
I will tell you, I got an air fryer, which I have used a couple of times.
How'd it work?
It's awesome. I have made homemade French fries. I have with no oil. I've made some fried pickles with no oil.
Or as we call it in Maryland, ole.
I want to try these things. This sounds fantastic.
Yeah. So that's my fun new toy. And then other than that, I just got I got a couple of video games and
Some shitty Ghostbusters memorabilia.
Yeah, God, terrible.
Yeah, we did. Ben is now the proud owner of an Egon Spengler
A vinyl.
and a
record.
copy
Not a
of
record.
Tobin's Spirit Guide.
Yes. So
Two
too bad
usual things.
Too bad I don't like Ghostbusters.
That and the handbook for recently deceased would be an amazing coffee table
So
ensemble.
I'm gonna let you in on something, Nick. Originally, so I bought your present last year, Ben, for this year's Christmas at Christmas last year, and I originally bought Nick's present as well, and I got Nick the handbook for the recently deceased, and I got Ben Tobin's Spirit Guide, and then I audibled after Nick told the harrowing story that you have heard on this podcast about the Christmas he didn't get the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles blimp.
I'll never forget it.
And so I made it my quest to do that. And now I have a copy of the handbook of the recently deceased to be given as a gift to someone at some point somewhere.
My birthday's in March.
I already got your birthday.
Just
No,
wait until you
you're
meet
a real adult.
I think you just need to wait until you meet a girl who is strange and unusual and give it to her.
Well, the
I met a lot of those, but they're also awful.
I need the girls to talk back to me though, and not just ignore my
Talk dirty back to
my
me.
Tinder messages.
How about you, Nick? You've been gone you were in the West Coast. You and Ben
Ooh,
met up
I
in
was.
San Diego.
We did.
That was pretty funny.
It was pretty great.
It was great because I was just out there working on this project, and I had an entire afternoon to kill before red eye, and was like, I don't know, like 15 minutes away from you, Nick, something like that.
Yeah,
20
so I was there for my cousin's wedding, and of course, it was really great that Ben didn't give me a job in San Diego a couple days before the wedding. It would have worked out perfectly, but I paid for my own ticket and met Ben. At
You
the
don't
brewery.
know how that worked.
I'm joking. So I met him at the brewery, And I got him to stay probably for longer than he wanted to be honest. But then he just hopped on a plane, and we got a good little hang session in there.
It was
Nice.
fun. We went to Modern Times, and
Yeah.
man, Modern Times is
Serendipity.
I
we got.
was so jealous.
dude.
I was so
Modern
jealous.
Times is that's like top 5 breweries I've been to in America right now.
And Matt, I told him this story when I was there, right? When I was living in LA, for a while when they were just starting up, the only Modern Times beer we had on tap was this like
Pilsner.
like
It was a Pilsner.
boring Pilsner, and it made me think that like Modern Times kind of sucks. And I really I've kind of avoided Modern Times until Ben invited me out, and everything I had was amazing.
No, like-
and they did everything. They made the best sour I've ever had. Whatever, buddy. Truly,
They're
the
barrel
best sour I've
aged,
ever
like
had.
they're devil's
They-
teeth, and they have all the.
They got a
Monsters Park.
barista on the other side of the bar making their own coffee, and then they use the coffee to make their own porters.
That's awesome.
It's just like, it's amazing. They make every style. They had a great West Coast IPA. I mean, everything I tasted was amazing. So
Nice.
I take back every bad thing I ever said about.
No, I
Modern
mean
Times.
like those. That I was gonna bring some cans back, but it was at the very end of the trip, and I'd spent all my cash. And like the cans, just 12-ounce cans of the barrel aged like Monsters Park and barrel aged Devil's Teeth, because I was gonna bring some of those back. They're all $16 a piece. And I was just
Yeah.
like, man, that racks up real fast.
Ben, can you see my glass?
Yes, I can.
Okay, I'm going for it.
Okay, so right now Nick is trying to pour bourbon
This is-
into his lap. Where
No, I'm gonna pick it up.
no, where
Just tell me when I need to stop. Okay.
God.
Is it
okay, you're all
going
good. You're all good. You're all good. You're in. You're in.
Why is this happening?
He's
Quiet.
pouring the bourbon while he has
I
his
can't
bird
hear.
box.
I can't hear it.
Hey, he's got his bird box on.
in his bird box.
Is it going?
It's
Not
going-
yet. It's not going yet. It's
falling
not going.
all over your
It's
bird
going
box.
slowly
Oh, I
now.
hear it. I hear it.
going. Stop.
Stop.
That's
I hear it.
that's a nice. That's a healthy pour.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Now don't drop that bottle.
Isn't it a safe place?
It's in the middle.
Okay.
You're good.
I gotta put the top on.
It's stuck in the middle with you.
It's got all over your bird box. It's gross.
Okay.
Anyhow.
Thank you.
That's where you
Take
need the
that-
that's where you need the video to
Yes,
reference
yes,
exactly
yes.
what's happening there.
Yeah,
Take
for
that,
those,
Sandy Bullock.
those of you assholes that have only been listening to us, you're missing out on so much more now. We have a third dimension that's just going to blow your minds.
That
But
is a healthy pour.
now I want to say we were just talking about sours for a second, and I want to leap back for just a moment. So it is my 40th birthday today, and
Happy
next
birthday, Sourpuss.
next thanks. Sourpuss is a great name for a sour, by the way. I'm sure there must be one. If not, it needs to be
Probably.
made. But next weekend, to celebrate this milestone in my birthdays, we are going to Key West with 6 other friends. All of whom have been on the
weekend.
show. Actually, everyone that's going on the thing has been on the podcast at some point, especially after the Christmas party.
Ryan's coming.
Brian, Adriana,
No, he
Kevin.
said Ryan.
Oh, Ryan. Oh, no. I didn't mean everyone that's ever been on. I meant, oh, man.
Ryan,
Sorry.
come on.
All your friends from Native Remedies are going to be on there?
First of all,
Ryan, just come to Key West.
Ryan is going to make an appearance on this podcast. Just to let you know that. Not calling in, but he is on this podcast at some point. I'll let you know.
Yes.
Jesus, spoiler alert.
Well,
We
you'll
had
find out.
more spoilers
You'll
than Bird
find out.
Box.
This is true. This is true. So one thing I have to request of you guys, we're going to have a lot of beer out there, and Key West is famous for something else, and it is key lime pie. I'm going to say
key
it.
lime pie.
I'm
I
going to
never
say it
put that
again
together.
with peace and love. With peace and love, I hate key lime pie. I hate sours. I want neither of them nor both of them combined
You're
in
missing
any
out
capacity.
on the Key Lime Berlinovite. How do you say it?
I tried the one that you
Berliner
gave, and
Weiss.
I do not enjoy it. I don't want to have to drink it. I'm just going to say it with peace and love.
I do not like green
no,
beer, Sam. I am.
no key lime pie or sour beers while we're there. I'm just going to say
Okay.
it. But
It's your
we will-
birthday.
My birthday.
I'm sure we will come back with many stories after next weekend and regale our audience with those tales.
And hopefully footage.
Yes. So
Maybe a podcast.
maybe a podcast.
Really? That's well, we're bringing the Yeti, right?
So
I got a Yeti too. Should I bring mine?
I think it could be funny.
Maybe if you want. I don't know that we're gonna be. Just use the phones. And we'll pipe in. We can put it on the soundboard.
Okay.
I'm just the last time I tried to travel with microphones, I electrocuted my computer, so I'm leery.
Just one. I could take one of our new like the Chromebooks and a Yeti, but whatever.
I like that.
Whatever you guys want to try. You guys can orchestrate whatever you would like.
Okay.
But so Nick, what about your Christmas? How was that back? You were up in Baltimore.
I got a Ninja Turtles blimp.
You did. You finally got your Ninja Turtles blimp.
You started that story. I don't think you finished it.
Oh,
the
yeah.
one toy I didn't get that fateful Christmas was the Turtles blimp, and you beautiful bastard. Of course you did. Of course you did.
Tracked
Matt.
it
That
down.
is classic Matt to remember. I swear to God, if I was a woman, Matt,
We did
I'd
discuss.
marry you tomorrow.
You guys have, if you listen to our episode called "Unique Nostalgia," you did hear about the
You're
blimp
homophobic
story.
too. Why don't you just marry him now?
I don't think it's homophobic
No,
to
I'm
not
just
want
joking.
to. But
Why aren't you just open to new experiences?
open.
Nick?
open. No, I mean I'm open.
And how's the family doing? How's everything going on? What I hear your sister had a little bit of a moment.
Fam's going good. She cut off part of her finger, but
Famous Adrian.
but on the plus side, Entertainment Tonight is watching her Insta stories right now.
I saw that she's being
So
followed.
Nice.
that's a really big deal.
She's doing better than us.
Yeah, she's killing it as Famous Adrian. Everyone, please follow Famous Adrian on Instagram.
Yes, absolutely.
She's
Only got 9 fingers,
It's-
but she's great with the 9 that she's got.
She's got this great premise where she it is honestly a otherworldly cook, really really good. And then she's getting into photography. And she's shooting the food really amazingly too. So she has this blog where she pretends to cook for famous people. I was talking to my buddy Sam, and he said he was catching up with a friend of a friend, and she goes to him, have you heard about Nick's sister? And he goes, oh, what happened? And he didn't know about the blog. And I goes, yeah, like, apparently she's really famous. She cooks for celebrities. Like, she cooked for Justin Timberlake last week. And he goes, like, knowing that Santa Croce's like, it's either true or an elaborate joke.
An elaborate hoax.
My money is on elaborate hoax. Yeah. So everyone follow Famous Adrian's food
It's a
blog.
superbly good read. It's super funny. It's super
Yep.
well done. The conceit is done very well. But yeah, it's great. Definitely dig it.
She's doing a lot better than my ill-fated FrenchOnionScoop.com.
I gotta tell her about that. Tell the listening audience about that.
I don't know about this.
Oh, you don't know? Oh, this is amazing.
Beth bought the domain
you
French
still
Onion
have it?
Scoop for me. No, because we only had it for 2 years and then we let it expire. It's not available now. Somebody else picked it up. But it's where I was going to just do humorous reviews of French onion soup at every restaurant I ever went to that had it.
Oh, so it was the French onion scoop. The scoop on
yes.
all the good. Oh,
Yeah,
you got
boy.
it. You got it, buddy.
Wow. That is wow.
Yeah.
I love it. I mean, I love French onion soup. So
I
I
do too.
In a very real way, I could have used that information.
No, exactly. Well, the idea was to be informative, but also kind of tongue-in-cheek.
Right. No, I got a firm grasp on your tone, buddy. Don't worry.
Wow. That is amazing. And any other good Christmas stories, Nicholas?
Oh, man.
See any bands or anything? Oh, I saw that your uncle got a ghost, like action, like a pop or something.
Yes. His brother-in-law custom made a pop
Wow.
figure for him with Papa Emeritus 3, his favorite Papa of the 4 lead singers of Ghost. Yeah, we're a Ghost family. The theme, the soundtrack of Christmas is our Swedish satanic metal.
I introduced my friend Steve and Mia to Ghost, and they were very interested. So maybe some new converts.
Well, I hope they accompany me on their first ritual.
I will let them know to make sure to take a guide and
Yeah.
make that guide be Nick Santa Croce.
There you go.
I was, of course, out in Texas with the wild animals and the wild hoots of the world.
Did you get stung by a ant-sized scorpion this time
First of
around?
all, that thing was not ant-sized; it was gigantic. And
It was not a Pixie song. It was an itsy bitsy.
So
teeny-weeny.
I was terrified every time I stepped in the shower that there was going to be a scorpion there. So I had a whole ritual of the shaking of the curtains and then beating them, and then I didn't really even use them to cover the shower. So I mostly took like a shower open as quick as I could and I wouldn't close my eyes. So I just got stung in the eyes routinely with shampoo.
By scorpions?
You just think you're getting stung by everything. Psychosomatic, not insane.
So on the third day, so my mom's place also just it's like a there's just a lot of activity of insects around it, especially moths at night get into things. These huge moths, and they're all over the fucking room. It's like that scene in Tommy Boy where he's using the vacuum and vacuum up all the moths in the room. So apparently one of them got behind the shower curtain the third day I was there. And
wait. Your mother or Hoot or a scorpion?
A moth.
A moth.
A moth got behind the curtain. And so I did my ritual and I shook and nothing happened. And then I put the water on and the water triggered wherever the moth was and it flew out at me and I flipped the fuck out. That
doesn't sound like you.
Positive that it was a scorpion leaping
They mutated
out from
fly.
from the shower. I screamed. I pulled a muscle in my arm flailing about.
Christ,
and I
man.
was like, I'm fucking shocked. I'm a mess. I can't take showers in the house comfortably. It's terrible.
I thought you were going to stay in a hotel
Next
time.
time-
It's not built yet. It's
You're
gonna
waiting
take,
for a
it's gonna take
hotel to
the
be
Best
built.
Western is gonna take
Next time you get
2
scared,
years.
next time you get scared in that sort of situation, just stand tall and just say, "Here I am."
Oh, God, they're fucking awful creatures. Well, and then there's all these
Scorpion joke.
You do all these things there where you have to you can't.
Yeah.
So you have to put your shoes up high in case of mice, and you have to turn them over because of scorpions. Because scorpions will drop down from the ceiling into your shoes.
man.
These are real things.
That actually happened when I was in Belize. Unfortunately, it wasn't in my bunk, but scorpion
Belize.
crawled up on the ceiling and just dropped down to a guy's bed. Didn't sting him because he had his sheets on or whatever.
Yeah.
But he got woken up by a scorpion dropping into his bed.
It'll wake you the fuck up, man.
You better believe it.
Fucking awful.
Shit.
So we did the usual movie watching out in Texas, trying to find things that Hoot could watch. We watched Venom,
Ooh.
and let me say, Hoot was quite a fan of Venom, including at one point saying, "I don't need that fucking Spider-Man anymore. I got Venom now." And I was like,
Hoot's a fucking turncoat.
we said that you were going to be specifically upset with him about it,
Damn
and he said he
I
didn't
was so
care.
I was so excited that Hoot and I shared about Spider-Man. Then he was on Thor.
And now he's on Venom.
He's a fucking groupie. He just goes with whoever the sexiest
He likes the
one
big,
is.
he likes the big burly guys.
He just wants to be dominated. And Spider-Man's a teenager. And
Now,
you can't get that
if
from him.
only that Venom was played by Michael Strahan.
Deep cut.
Fighting against Whoopi Goldberg. No, and I once again watched Venom and found the beginning terribly boring and loved the entire middle. I love the middle of that movie unabashedly. I think it is super fucking fun. But the other things
Clearly the best Spider-Man related property
Yes.
to come out this year.
Absolutely. Well, we're going to get to our reviews here in a second, but the other thing that I thought was amusing to bring to the table here from Texas is I took an Uber to go to the movie theater on my last day there because I had to kill 6 hours before a flight in San Antonio. I had dropped my bags off at the airport because my brother and I had to ride there together. He flew out at noon. I was flying out at 6:30. So I took an Uber to the movie theater to go watch the new Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse movie. And they have a chain of theaters out there called Santikos. It's I guess it's the family name. There's Santikos 14, and they have different names. The one I was going to is called Santikos Embassy. So I get in the Uber, and the driver goes, Santikos. And he goes, "Is that a country?" And I thought he was joking because he lives there. I know it's a chain there. He should know, be like if you're going to Cinemark and you're like, "Cinemark, is that a country?" And you're like, "Ha ha ha!" You know the theaters around you. And I go, "I don't know. I don't think so." He goes, "Okay." He goes, "What do you do? Are you a diplomat?" And I'm like, "What the fuck?" And I go, "Oh, he thinks he's taking me to the embassy of Santikos, the country that doesn't exist."
The fake country.
The Isle of Santikos.
It's like
I just stared at him and I'm like, No, I'm not a diplomat. I don't understand what's happening here.
it's right next to Wakanda on the map.
I picture like a Grecian island
Yes.
overrun by cats. Santikos.
It's right next to Wakanda. Only it's pasty white guys who like pop culture stuff.
Oh yeah, that was the other thing. I'm like, I don't look like a diplomat. I don't
You
think.
definitely don't look like a guy from Santikos.
Yeah.
This fake country that I just made up. You're like, he doesn't look Santikosan.
Say,
Santikos.
brother, bring me straight to Santikos.
Oh, no.
Let us go. Yes.
You should let the accent to to our imagination. You ruined it.
I liked my Santican accent, and I've been working on it for quite a few days. So I wanted to kind of we're going to get into kind of our truncated kind of year in review in a bit, but I wanted to talk. We all saw a lot of movies over the last 30 days or so, and I kind of wanted to give you guys a little bit of like some truncated reviews on some of the things that we saw out there. I do have to share with you guys one really, really amazing moment I had in a movie theater in Texas was watching Vice, which is the Dick Cheney movie by Adam McKay.
Watching in Texas.
In Kerrville, Texas, like heartland of Texas.
How many people were in the theater?
The
Deep in the heart of Texas.
I'd say it was a theater that sat like probably 40 people, and there were probably 20 in there. Like it was a half full theater.
They thought it was going to be a love letter to him.
Well, you know you're an optimist. It was
how many people walked out?
No, well, so this is the most amazing thing I've ever seen live happen in a movie. There's a moment, and if you're a purist and you think that you might be spoiled by just a gag in the movie, you can close your ears. I don't think this really spoils it. It's a kind of a silly gag, but
close your ears.
About a third of the way through the movie, so maybe 45, 50 minutes into the movie, before Cheney has met Bush you're going through his life story. He hasn't met Bush. He hasn't become vice president or anything. There's a moment where his daughter's asking about whether he's going to continue in politics, and it goes to this long, very pretty shot of Dick and Lynn Cheney out on their property, out in the front lawn or back lawn, and it starts a super on the screen. It says, Dick chose his family over politics. He and Lynn Cheney settled down on their ranch. They raise golden retrievers, and it does this whole thing, and it starts to roll the credits, like as a total, this really sappy, like heartfelt music. And this dude stands up with his jacket and starts nudging his wife to leave the theater. And I'm like, it's very obvious. The movie has barely been on, and it's obviously a gag. But this guy, hook, line, and sinker, 100%, and then the other people are looking at him like, oh, I guess the movie's over. Like they're gonna get up. And I was like, I've never seen anything like that in my life. And then it goes back into the movie, and this guy's like, didn't know what to do with himself, and just so they stood there for a little while longer with the jacket, and then slowly sat back down and watched the whole movie.
Wait, Dick Cheney does become vice president?
Yes, I'm sorry.
Spoiler alert! You're supposed to say it.
It wasn't like a Spider-Verse alternate reality.
But I mean, it was so cheesily done. Like they lived together, they raised golden retrievers. It's like all this shit. It was so funny. But the movie is.
I get it.
And it was very, very funny. I highly, highly recommend it. I thought it was great. They use a lot of the same tricks that they did in The Big Short. If you've seen The Big Short, there's a lot of like kind of winking at the camera type stuff. There's a great bit running gag with how many heart attacks he's had, where he's just like, all of a sudden he's like, hospital, have another heart attack.
Yeah, I got a heart attack.
It played very much like the Bears sketch. The first was my favorite. It's like he's on this big trek, like all these good things are happening in his life, and he's walking into the Capitol building in DC. And he's walking along, and then just immediately, like almost record scratch stop on the music, and he just falls to the ground. He's like, another heart attack. It's
my God.
Amazingly good. But I highly recommend that movie. But now, Ben, you started binging a TV series, I understand.
Yeah.
Or you finished it.
No, we're still
This is what I think it is.
away. What?
God, instigator.
No,
Sabrina? Is that what you're talking
Yes.
about?
Yeah, I want to
Yeah.
hear about Sabrina.
Yeah, so my wife and I started watching Sabrina, which is just because a lot of people.
Sabrina.
It's called The Chilling Tales of Sabrina, is the name of the show. Is another take on Sabrina the Teenage Witch, which was a take on.
There's only
books
one
and graphic
take, and it
novels.
stars Melissa Joan Hart.
Yeah, well, this is a lot different than that. This is basically just Buffy. Now, the reason why we started watching is because I had mentioned it had gotten good reviews, and there were some people I trust who said, oh, hey, it's a lot of fun. And she said a lot of the people in her circles, like in people that she talks with online, said that it was they loved it. They were just eating it up. And I'm not saying it's great TV, but it is in the same way that Buffy was kind of incessantly watchable. Like you could just keep you get involved in the story because the acting is all really good. Even as weird and kind of contrived as a lot of the storylines get, it's also just really well made.
Okay.
It's very well shot. It's very well conceived from an overall show standpoint. It's essentially Buffy. It has the same.
Does Nick Bakay voice a talking puppet cat?
By the way, here's
Hard pass.
So here's the thing. This show is obviously made. It's not made for the same audience that the original Sabrina the Teenage Witch was made for.
Tweens.
So that I would say the target audience was 10 or 11 year olds. This is definitely like almost in college students.
So Buffy.
It's Buffy.
It's
Only
the
because
Riverdale formula, right?
It's incredibly dark. I mean, and by incredibly dark, I mean it's got some very demonic, very scary, very, very scary imagery. Like stuff that'll stick with you.
Full frontal nudity.
Interesting.
Full frontal demon nudity.
If you like some dick, some demon dick.
Is there dick in it?
I love demon dick.
I think there might be.
There's demon dick.
I think
There might be.
demon dick.
Don't be coy with me.
Diamond demon dick.
But
My wrestling name.
But no, it's like if you would never watch
Rest in peace, Mean Gene.
the original Sabrina the Teenage Witch and watch her literally slit somebody's like a living person's neck open and let them bleed out on the ground. I mean, that shit happens in the show multiple times. So it's dark. It's dark. And it's like I said, it's very watchable. So I've got other stuff that I watch that I like a lot more than that, but I did find it interesting that I did find myself sucked in enough to watch it in the same way that Buffy was, where it's like the episodes are of a varying quality. Mm-hmm. The mythology ones are typically a little bit better than the ones where there's more of like the one-off, even though some of the one-offs are better than the other one-offs that I've seen so far.
X-Files too.
Yes, very X-Files-y in that way too. But it's already been greenlit for 2 more seasons, so... Ugh. You say
you haven't seen it.
I'm just bitter about Daredevil as I wear my Matt Murdock blindfold.
But Daredevil's not Netflix.
Daredevil is Netflix.
But it's not. Netflix would have kept running Daredevil.
They had the rights till 2020.
Disney
canceled it.
Disney is the one that
Disney shut it down.
Yeah, Disney.
No, that's not true. Netflix has the rights till 2020.
They have the rights, but Disney's not making it.
That doesn't mean
I read
Netflix does not make the show. Disney makes the show.
I read it was too expensive to make.
No,
it was the 4th most popular show.
No,
it was too expensive to make.
Disney's pulling the plug on everything because they want to take it over to. They want the properties to go over at their streaming
season
service.
2 comes out pretty soon.
Yeah, because it was already done. It was already produced.
In January. That's the reason why they're also pulling the.
I don't understand timelines.
No, but they're also pulling the plug on pretty much everything on that end, including Jessica Jones.
Anything that wasn't already done in production.
All I'm saying is I'm bitter about Daredevil.
That's not.
That doesn't take away from my point. And listen, I respect an easily watchable show. Okay, I totally do. And people have been telling me for years to watch Buffy. I've never seen Buffy. I bet I would like it. I just know that I watched the first episode, the pilot episode of The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, and I barely got through that. I barely got through it. It was like corny and not fun, and I decided, okay, not for me. But you're saying it gets better, and everyone else I talk to seems to say that it gets a lot better too. So maybe I'll just shoulder on and then get to the point where it's watchable, because I turned that shit off.
Well, here's what I would do. I would almost even wait until the second season comes out and see, then listen to people and see how it is then. And then decide if you want to commit to it or not.
Then I have more of a... Yeah, okay.
That's what I would do. It's just because a lot of times, you'll have it's only 10 episodes or 11 episodes, but they're an hour apiece. So you don't want to have to commit too much time to it if you're not going to enjoy it.
Sure.
Yeah, I've saved a lot of time on shows that I've gotten better about. I used to in the post Lost days when I was trying to fill the Lost void. I watched every Lost knockoff that ever came out, and I just wasted so much because they all got canceled after like a season,
right? Of course,
2 seasons, and I don't want to waste that kind of time in there.
You mean you watch every episode of Flash Forward?
I did. Actually, I loved Flash Forward. That was my favorite of all the Lost knockoffs with Joseph Fiennes. Hell yeah!
Oh wait, you're not talking about the Disney Channel show for teenagers, Flash Forward?
No. No,
that was good too.
Flash forward was where people get a flash of something 6 months in the future. All of humanity sees it, and then they wake back up. And some people see like black, and they don't know if that means that they're dead or there's something like wrong or whatever.
That's what I'm seeing right now.
Yes, they were all bird boxing,
and it's not the John Waters comedy about a fun-loving exhibitionist.
You know the way to my heart.
Now, Nick, you were talking early on about Buster Scruggs. What did you think about Buster Scruggs?
Okay, opposite of The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, from the first 10 minutes, I was like, oh, shit, I'm going to love the shit out of this movie.
It's pretty good.
I did the whole way through, but with some surprises. And you know, we've definitely talked about Kentucky Fried Movie in the past, and I question the viability of a film that sort of depends on short stories that come together, or sketches, vignettes, if you will. Yeah, and this is an example of a movie that does that so well. And you know, you got to think of, like, you know, why it's attractive for an A-list actor to sign on for a mocap movie, because they'll be in the studio for 5 days and then they're done, right? Liam Neeson can sign on and do, you know, a couple days worth and do a really poignant vignette, and then they move on to the next vignette with Tom Waits, who fucking kills it. And
Waits' one was good.
It's all, you know, again, they're going from they're kind of building on True Grit in a way, and just showing their love for the Western, but in, you know, a quirky way only the Coen brothers can cook up. And it takes place in the Ballad of Buster Scruggs. It's a leather-bound book that the narrator flips through, and it will zoom into a vignette, and then when it ends, he turns the page to the next story, and that comprises the whole movie. So, it's great.
I'm interested in this just because I really liked it too, a lot, and I would recommend it to anyone. I have a hard time recommending it as a film or putting it. I can't put it on a best of list for me, and I think the reason why is because vignette movies just inherently become something else for me. Because they are so episodic that they don't feel like they don't have the narrative structure. Now, I would recommend anybody to watch that movie, especially if they like westerns.
I think the Coens.
It's awesome.
Yeah,
or Looney
really
Tunes. The first one.
The first one
the
was
actual
great.
Ballad
That's
of
my
one's
favorite
so
one.
silly.
is a straight up super violent old school Looney Tunes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cartoon, and to pull it off live action is just absolutely
of course,
incredible.
like, not to if nobody's watching or if anybody's listening to this and hasn't seen it, but when Buster grows wings and just starts playing the harp, I mean, I bust out laughing so
it's
hard.
Bugs Bunny. It's a Bugs Bunny routine.
You know, exactly.
It's the Coen brothers,
what it is.
but see, the thing is, then they turn on a dime, and they do a short with Liam Neeson, who's traveling on the road with this amputee guy who's performing
Played by
Shakespeare.
Dudley Dursley.
Yeah, and you know, they're not making much money. They're not attracting a crowd, and it just takes this dark turn. You're getting this little
that was my
brilliant.
I think it was my favorite one.
I think it was mine too.
And
you get these brilliant little.
I had
little,
a problem with that one.
well,
I did.
Well, that's fine, but what I like about it the most is, you're right, Ben. The truth be told, I didn't sit down and watch that in one sitting. I watched a short and turned it off, and did work or did what I had to do, and I came back and I watched the next one and turned it off. It's a movie that you can afford to do that.
Yeah, it almost feels like a show.
Yeah,
Which is what everyone thought it was to begin with. That it was a series.
I liked being able to just turn it on and watch a vignette and see an actor really sink their teeth into a role that doesn't last an entire movie. You could tell they were enjoying it. It was a different experience. They weren't on set for a year. It produces kind of a super energetic, fun hour and a half, and I mean, everyone I've talked to has really liked it. My parents loved it.
Yeah,
all my friends love it. It's just not the same experience you're going to get from just, you know, plopping down and committing to an hour and a half for something like Bird Box.
Well, I think that's kind of like, I mean,
Did you guys see Bird Box, by the way? Did we talk about?
I watched the whole thing. Watched it with my mom and Hoot and my brother. My mom and Hoot weren't really quite sure what to make of it, especially at the beginning. Especially, I mean, he's a huge Western fan and she hates Westerns. So
my God.
But she loves the Coens and he hates the Coens.
Everybody.
So it was a very interesting kind of mix to watch people that liked half of what was going on there. And I'm kind of similar with you, Ben, in that if it's gonna be a movie and you're gonna bill it as a movie, I would like something that
a narrative thread that
even if it's not even
Yeah.
like the 10 is kind of a good example of, you know, the 10 is doing the 10 commandments, you're looking at sins and that kind of stuff, and I think there was a little of that going on actually in Buster Scruggs, that you're looking at different sins or different plights kind of as they go, and maybe there's more of a narrative structure than I'm aware of, that knowing the Coen brothers, there probably is. There's a reason why this story follows that story, and that stuff. But the thing
I listened to an interview with them, and they both basically said they were like they had thought of all of these different concepts, and then they were just like, oh, let's do one of these kind of
Gotcha.
let's do one of these features where
man.
but they did think about it originally as a TV show, and they were like, well, that doesn't work or whatever. But apparently they
wouldn't have
wrote
liked that.
one of the vignettes they wrote in like 1982.
Wow.
Okay.
So see, I loved it when a story would end, and it would you know, fade into the narrator flipping to the last page of the chapter, and then to the next chapter with the illustration and title of the next vignette. But what I would do is I would pause it on that last page,
And then do something else, yeah.
No.
You read the tale.
Yeah,
read the
I'd
tale.
read the page, and they took the time.
There's some good
to
sweetening
write-
of the stories in those pages.
Absolutely. Every time I'd pause it at the exact moment I got most of the page, and
The Zoe Kazan one has a really good actual last page. It's adds a little bit more light to at the end of that story.
and to me that moment absolutely effectively ties them together and absolutely makes it a effective movie. Unorthodox, sure, but it's an obvious threading. It's an obvious device, but it works for me.
You
It works
understand
for
what
me.
I'm saying, though.
Totally.
I
I get you.
I don't consider it a movie that I would put with
I
any
don't
other
consider
list.
the Coen brothers reasonable directors. They lucked out.
That's not that.
I know,
okay,
I'm joking.
Anyway,
I'm joking.
Put your blinder back on.
It is on. It totally is.
Shut your bird
My
box.
blinder's always on.
Shut
you know
your
that.
bird box right now.
It doesn't
and
have to
let's-
be a gimmick bird box episode of the podcast for me to have my blinders on, Matt.
So one of the things I wanted to do for this podcast, because we are going to.
I feel like Charlie Cox. I'm trying to emote to you guys. I don't know if I'm looking in the right direction or smiling.
I mean,
or
I'm
on the
looking
mic.
at you in the camera, so I'm really. That would be where you just were. No.
Okay,
Anyway, but one of the things I want to do before we kind of get into any, because I don't know that we necessarily have any year-end lists. And that's a problem with what the Oscars has done with movies, is everything gets released in a week or 2 weeks in December, and it makes it very hard
Not
to do.
necessarily. I mean, I have my list.
You have your list. Okay, so
Number one, welcome to Marwin.
So I definitely want to hear Ben's list. But one thing I wanted to do before we get into the movies section here is I want to talk about my 10 favorite moments from the New Way podcast last year.
Nice.
And I pulled 10 clips from 10 different episodes I felt were exemplified some of what I really enjoyed doing and hearing and listening back to. And this is good for you, those of you out there that
sentimental bastard.
those of you that have not listened to the podcast before, this gives you a chance to hear a little bit. So I'm going to do these in order of when they took place last year. So we're going to go from January all the way to December. So from our episode 53 on January 28th, this was our beer episode where we had Greg Klein in the studio.
Shit
before
show.
No, it was not. It was pretty good because it was before we went to
Wakefest.
Trench Day. So, and this was Greg Klein's review of the New Way podcast, which we all thought was great.
Let me quote. I wrote this down after I listened to the first episode of the new way. plus Nick New Way, which I was very skeptical about. I want to be honest.
Oh, introducing a third party,
Right.
the cousin Oliver.
It was like my parents were getting divorced. I didn't like it. I was scared. It was weird. It was new. But
Actually, it's more like your parents are introducing somebody else into the bedroom.
Yeah, it's like big love.
And they're like, so they're going to be living with us.
This is our new sister wife.
it's really gross. I don't like thinking about that at all. But here's what I came up with, and this is honestly how I feel as a huge fan of the podcast.
This is an exclusive right here.
You ready for this? This is how I would describe the podcast, the new version of the podcast, to someone that asked me. This podcast is really well done, for no reason, sometimes.
Still poignant.
Still always
Still
good.
totally poignant.
Our next one.
I hope Greg is happy
I
have entered the bedroom.
I think it was happier than when his parents' marriage was broken up by that other person. We have our next one is from February 18th, episode 55. This was Fictional Character Dinner Party, which I was thinking we need to do another one of these, but this was our good friend John Arthur.
Yeah.
And this was John Arthur telling us about his dinner party included Hannibal Lecter, who was going to be cooking the dinner, and this was John's decision of what was going to be cooked.
It's not like this fun party where we're gonna discuss things. It's like I'm turning this into like this mind fuck.
You want a race riot, a man that eats people, and a woman who kills the men she has sex with, but is super hot.
Well, everyone's going to eat people if they eat the dinner.
Okay, so that's the game. So
She also
brings us
has
to the
a
game.
nice beaver.
It's preferably stuffed.
So, but that's what brings about the game, which is Lecter's catering. Each one gets a dish, and it's either a friend or a lover or an enemy. And you just you try to figure it out. Like, I went really...
I've definitely eaten that ass before.
Help me. So gross, Nick.
So, yeah, I told you.
It was so awful, it took a second to sink in, but that is the grossest thing you've ever said, you sick son of a bitch.
You know what? That was a good line. I gotta say,
It was a good
That was
line.
pretty good. I like it.
Kids are eating ass these days. What can you say?
I love it.
Yeah,
There it is.
another
That's
favorite.
my best of 2018.
Yes.
That drop.
Oh, that drop is definitely the best that we did. Our March,
And also, John Arthur on the mic, man. What
oh
what
yeah,
what a
he's got that
velveteen-
sultry voice on there. Yeah, the dulcet
getting
tones.
the vapors.
The another favorite episode of mine was episode 56 that we did on March 4th on movie scores, and here's a clip from that one.
I think my favorite score of the last at least 20 years. And this is
You
including...
said 50 years before.
Yeah, actually, it might be 50 years. It
might be 100,000 years.
It might be every score of all time. But
Wow.
I
I
think
want you to commit. I wanna
as
hear
it pertains to the movie and like how it fits with the movie, my
50 Shades of Grey.
my favorite
Elfman?
score, that was Elfman.
Oh, was it?
Yeah,
Oh,
it was.
Jesus
Thanks for bringing it up,
Christ.
asshole.
Your hero
on,
is
dude.
dead to me.
Come on, dude.
Dipshit.
But if you play number 5, it's
An unintentional Elfman burn? How dare you?
This is a good one. I was gonna talk about this earlier.
this is Thomas Newman, and it's the score for Road to Perdition.
Newman.
And Thomas Newman is a immense talent. I mean, like his ability to match what he's writing for the screen is so good. But this was the first time I remember just being like, I was so entranced by this score. It just blew my mind when I saw it live.
Getting a little serious there,
Oh,
as
nice.
we are known to do at times.
You know what? But like Thomas Newman, you really painted a picture there.
That's
Ben.
right. That's right. After we talked, I made an unintentionally slammed Danny Elfman by accident.
Well, it still hurts. It still hurts that he did all the 50. Moving on.
Episode 62 on
Next song.
August 5th, the Wilma McAwesome Trivia Hour, and that was when we had our good friend Wilma McAwesome from Brass Tap Trivia, and he came in and did a game, which of course I won because I am the master of trivia in the room. Let's hear a little clip from that one.
All right, here's an easy one. You got 2 more to go.
Right.
Here we
Voice
go.
makes me laugh.
Nick.
Nick.
Top Gun.
Wow.
Top Gun.
Nicely done.
You hear about the sequel, right?
Oh, yeah.
And guess who wrote this music? Faltermeyer, the same guy that did the music. Well, of course, this song is whatever. But you know, Faltermeyer they brought him back. He hasn't done a score since the '80s.
No bonus points.
But Kenny Loggins did this song.
Kenny Loggins did the song, but it was Top Gun. It was the Faltermeyer wrote all the music for Top Gun.
And next song.
What does Faltermeyer sound like a character from a Seinfeld episode?
Or we played him for Fletch in the episode a little while ago.
The evil wizard in Harry Potter.
Yeah, didn't he teach the dark arts?
Jesus Christ.
Faltermeyer.
His name was Harold Faltermeyer.
I was part of that podcast and I still didn't remember the name, but that is a great name. Faltermeyer.
The Faltermeyer in our stars.
Yeah, Harold Faltermeyer.
The Faltermeyer Chronicles.
Go Faltermeyer yourself.
Always good times.
I gotta retire that Tenacious D reference.
Yeah. You have
Next
a few ones.
song.
Do
I
a few
can't
of those.
believe that.
Also, you officially after that episode have to retire all of your Ishtar jokes since we learned that you did not know the movie at all. But we're making many Ishtar jokes.
I saw the Gary Larson.
He was just a Far Side fan.
Just far-siding it.
That's a great strip.
Episode 64, August 19th, slapstick, madcap screwball comedies.
Slee Slack?
With, of course, Kevin and his twin brother joining us and, of course, discussing our favorite entertainment. So you guys, we're going to get into our topic tonight, but we have, I think all of us, and Nick as well, actually, really share a lot of affinity for strange, old-school nostalgia humor.
I myself am strange and old school.
Exactly. Including a predilection for Paul Lynde moments, which Kevin and I watched the Paul Lynde Halloween episode.
It was
Halloween
fantastic.
show.
I'm the one that sent Kevin that link.
I wasn't there for that. Well, I was there for the Thompson twins thing. I wish I could have been there for the Paul Lynde special.
It was great. We had Kiss and Florence Henderson. Oh, it was amazing.
Dude, Paul Lynde and Florence Henderson make out in that for the most awkward kiss I've ever witnessed, I think, in my entire life.
Awkward or awesome?
No, it's awkward. I don't know.
Awesome.
I mean, yeah, I guess it's both of those. Of course, we had our second annual Halloween episode 70 on October 21st.
I just remember it was right when my mom bought this specific house on Dugdale Avenue in Chattanooga, and we walked, and so it was the middle of the night, and I was outside in the garden area, and there was a oh shit.
I'm sorry.
You ran it back.
I'm so sorry, Ben. I'm so sorry.
You commit to it now. Go, Ben.
I'm not going to honor you guys at the end of that story. Fuck you.
Play the David S. Pumpkin song. Go.
Come on,
Finish the story, Ben. Come on.
I'm done.
Ben.
Come on, Ben. We
That was
really
the end
want
of
to
the
hear
story.
we really want to hear your story, Ben.
Trick or treat.
Oh, Ben being a good sport about the.
The best part is when you started playing it again, though. God damn it! It slayed me.
I couldn't.
Fucking slayed me. That is my number one moment.
Oh, it is.
When you brought up when you convinced him. Okay, I'm sorry. Tell us. And you fucking did it. That's something I would do. It's not something you would do.
It got
good
funnier
guy,
each
Matt.
time. It just got funnier each time. Ben,
Beautiful.
Angry and angrier.
Beautiful.
This might be my favorite moment of the year. Episode 74 on November 18th, the sequel to the movie pitch game, and Nick's comedic pitch for a movie starring a certain not known for a comedy star.
This is my favorite.
To Mrs. Doubtfire?
Sure. Why not? Why not? Let's do it. Okay. Liam Neeson stars in this rip-roaring comedy classic.
Words never before spoken.
He has a very particular set of
comedic skills.
of comedy chops.
Comedic powerhouse, Liam Neeson.
Well, he's not really the comedic lead. He's the like serious actor you throw in. Yeah,
He's the straight.
who struggles with all the comedy.
Let's let him go.
Do you have any quirky comedy music?
I just imagine Liam Neeson getting the script. What is this? What is this shit?
I'm gonna start you over. Right. Start you over.
I've never been forced to smile.
So we have Liam Neeson, and let's.
Liam Neeson is a down on his luck. Liam Neeson like you've never seen him before. So Liam Neeson It comes from a family of proud janitors.
That one is amazing.
Oh man, that's so funny. Still so funny.
Still so good. December 2nd, episode 75, our first official real long-term call-in guest, Ryan, and our discussion about Tom Hanks and whether or not he had sex in the movie Big.
Grown Tom, as a 13-year-old mentally, wasn't able to physically make it all the way to consummating.
Yes, he didn't know what he was
night
doing.
Of debauchery.
So he's saying
Yes.
he couldn't get a boner. I think he can get a boner. He's got a man dick.
It went away real quick.
Suck it to me one more time.
He proves he has a man dick in the beginning of the movie when he opens up his underoos when he's Tom Hanks and he goes, then he snaps him shut in shock.
Well, of course
I'm
he had a man
saying
dick.
He got a boner, but that he
Was it a
had the
boner or just a
incident that
larger
many
penis?
13-year-old boys have when they first get in those situations.
He's saying
I
there was
remember
a
when I
little
get
bit of
quickly.
PE involved.
Oh, so you're saying that he didn't even make it
Yeah.
to the event. It just happened
That could
ahead of
happen,
time.
too.
Okay.
It still stays my narrative.
She's smiling quite a bit the next day for that to happen.
Well, yeah, she
Right,
thought she
because
was
she had,
really good.
she had the first night where she wasn't just a sex object, and they connected on her.
You mean the night where the guy came all over her before they had sex?
Oh
That
my
was
God.
the night that was a connection?
That's Ryan's theory.
Maybe that's the night that he
Just
found
watch
out
the
that he
movie.
was a giver.
I didn't say on Chesil Beach, and there'll be a complete.
I remember when
opposite side of that.
I remember when I got my man dick.
Jesus.
When you turned
I'm just
13.
This is automatically
My bar
when you
mitzvah.
turn 13. You're a man now.
That's probably number 2. If it could make it our number 1. We get just 2 more here to do. From our December 9th.
So many good times.
Yeah, December 9th, episode 76. Let's make some musicals. This is the song of the night that made me laugh the hardest.
Shrimp hands.
God damn it.
Shrimp hands. Tonight all of the shrimp's gone bad. Shrimp. Me say shrimp, me say shrimp, me say shrimp, me say shrimp, me say shrimp hands. Tonight all of the shrimp's gone bad. Work all day setting up sets. Tonight all of the shrimp's gone bad. Alfred O'Hara should serve croissants. Tonight all of the shrimp's gone bad. Come, Mr. Otham, and summon us a phantom.
Phantom.
All of the shrimp's gone bad.
And finally, from our last episode.
I said Phantom because I was so drunk at that point. I thought that your
Shadow
musical was the Phantom, and not the Shadow.
Wondered about that one.
Well, Alec was in both. Right?
Yes. No.
Was he?
Phantoms.
No?
Wait.
No,
No, that's Billy Zane.
The
Billy
Phantom
Zane.
or
It was
With
Phantoms?
Billy Zane. Or Phantoms is Ben Affleck.
No, I don't know what I was thinking. Clearly,
Billy Zane was the bomb in the Phantom, y'all.
Shut up, Bird Box. You're drunk.
I can't
almighty.
see shit. This is really hard, by the way. To go this long, I
It's
feel like
affecting your brain, I think.
I feel like I can hear better. I can smell better. I feel like I'm Daredevil, bitch.
All right.
Sorry.
So our final clip from 2018, I love, is from Ben's birthday holiday extravaganza, and this was, I think, my favorite moment of the night was Adriana sharing her Christmas song with us. I listened to this over again, and
my favorite song when I was a little girl would come on. It was Mi Burrito, and it was a little boy and his little donkey, and they would go. I know it's
no, please sing us the song. Please sing us the song. Come on, please.
Oh my gosh! If you bring it up, I will sing with it.
I mean, I can try. I can totally try
It's a kid's version. Kids version of it.
Kids version.
I can't talk. Yeah.
They're all virgins.
I need more drinks.
Me Burrito is the name of the fake porno that I shot last week.
I know this song.
I was gonna say, like 96.5 plays it non-stop now.
Mi burrito, I like to despacito. I don't do to mi burrito.
Nice one, Matt.
I don't know if I. Will you sing along with this if I play this?
She will.
I really put the karaoke up on there.
Brian's like, she will.
It's singing the song, baby.
Here we go. You see it up there?
Yes. Oh my gosh. semen.
Semen what?
Yeah, I know, right?
A burrito and semen doesn't sound good.
Out of the penis day of Ben.
You had to cheapen that delightful.
I absolutely.
song.
Well, when Ben didn't cheapen it by saying "Me Burrito" is
Yes.
a porn movie.
Well,
which I think is
that's
pretty
fair.
fantastic.
Honestly, that is a delight. It's a goddamn delightful.
It is a
song.
really delightful song. It put me in a very happy mood. That thing. So those were my top 10 favorite moments from the New Way in 2018.
Awesome.
That's it. Now, Ben, you want to talk about some of your year-end favorites?
So the way I kind of did a quick breakdown, just because I haven't watched a whole lot of movies. This past year, just because I don't get to see a lot of movies, and there are a lot of things.
Made my burrito.
I need to catch up on.
Busy on that one.
I will very
Real
quickly
busy.
say all of the movies that I did not see. I haven't seen Beale Street Good Talk. I haven't seen You Were Never There.
You haven't seen
Black Klansman, Paddington, Stars Born, Tully, Juliet Naked, Free Solo, A Star Is Born, Halloween, Mid-90s, Wildlife, Suspiria, Bohemian Rhapsody, Widows, Harry Potter, Creed 2, Wreck-It Ralph 2, or Vice. I have not seen any of those.
Oh my
movies.
God, that's all of the movies of the
All
year.
of the movies of the year.
You haven't seen A Star Is Born, you bastard!
I
You
haven't seen
enemy
any
of the country.
As soon as it comes out on rental, which is going to be before
Very
the,
soon,
the,
yes.
the Academy Awards, then I'll definitely watch it.
I'm going to concur with my brother that Star Is Born is real likely to take all the awards.
I will bet you $100 right now, and I will shake on it. It will not win Best Picture.
Ooh.
Shake on it. I'm witness.
I'm trying to think if I
can't
think
see
it's going to
shit.
win director or picture. I don't know what else is up against.
You
the
It's not going to win either.
Listen, Matt texted
You think Roma?
me. Matt texted me.
Nope.
Bradley Cooper's
Roma-
winning the Oscar.
Roma's only get- Rom-
Whoa,
Roma
hold
is-
on. Hold on. Matt texted me.
I texted
Bradley
Matthew the same
Cooper
thing.
is winning the Oscar for Best Director. What?
He's
what
not
a
going.
tour de
He is
force.
absolutely not.
I think
win
it's
it.
going to go Argo. I think it's going to be another Argo.
Argo, fuck
I
yourself.
think they like the actor, director. I think they like her. I think
It's
they
been
like the movie.
so quiet
Who
on
doesn't
the
like
awards
Lady
front.
Gaga?
I think they like it. We'll see.
I think the only
They love
person on the above the line above the line there, and I'm not saying because I haven't seen the movie
Yeah,
yet,
yeah.
but based just off of the push I've seen behind it, the only person who has a chance above the line would be Lady Gaga.
Ooh, not even Sam Elliott. Sam Elliott doing damn good. Sam Elliott.
The banquet.
And
Bureau.
also kind of funny, Bradley Cooper literally doing Sam Elliott because he plays his brother and he modeled his character off of Sam Elliott.
Well, so anyway, so
Let me tell you what, dude.
I listed that a bunch. So I'm interested in seeing that movie because I'll have a better formed opinion on it. Obviously,
We're gonna watch
I
it after
see
the podcast right now.
The couple movies I thought were relatively disappointing. I think just based off of my perception of what they could
say
be.
Bird Box.
No. Would be Isle of Dogs, Incredibles 2, and Ant-Man.
I
And
loved Isle of Dogs, man.
see, I really disliked it.
Really?
Yeah.
I need to watch that. I know you
Actively
gave
disliked
a
it.
bad, you gave a bad review of that.
I actively disliked it compared to
Oh.
what it could have been.
I loved it. Absolutely loved it. I saw it on a plane.
And, well,
but
the interesting thing was this.
did.
I really like the guys on YouTube. Shit, it's escaping me right
Ninja?
now.
PewDiePie?
Yeah, there you go. But they loved Isle of Dogs a lot and said that it was just so far superior to Fantastic Mr. Fox. And I was just like, I think Fantastic Mr. Fox is a much better made movie.
It absolutely is. See, that's the thing, though. Sometimes, Ben, you get into the, you don't like people to like things better than other things. And when they get vocal about it, you get upset and you take a stance and you dig your heels in.
But no, I watch Isle
What
of
was
Dogs.
wrong with
I
it?
watched with Isle of Dogs.
What didn't you like, though? For real.
I didn't like the pacing of it. I thought that it was. See, here's the thing. I feel like a lot of times when Wes Anderson leans into doing the Wes Anderson thing, I love it even more. But I'm not a huge fan of Life Aquatic, and I feel for me, the Isle of Dogs is kind of like the Life Aquatic of his stop motion stuff.
Fun fact: you know who directed the stop motion stuff in that movie? I bet
Henry
you did.
Selick?
You sure do. Oh, by the way, my dad made he did totally crazy that. Usually, this is the thing that I would do.
And by the way, I wasn't saying any of those three movies are bad movies. I just did not enjoy those movies as much as I possibly could have, especially the two movies, because I rewatched Incredibles 2 and Ant-Man, and I thought this could have been better, but I've also seen other movies since then that
I agree with
have
you on both
affected-
of those.
have affected
Those two, at least.
have affected those opinions.
Wait, hold on. My quick train of thought that was derailed just now.
Sorry. No,
just let me-
I wanted to finish my
semantics.
thought and then go
Real quick.
ahead. Go
No,
ahead.
I'll finish my thought, and then you finish your thought, and then Matt can finish his thought. My dad, weirdly and totally out of character, decides to make a PowerPoint Christmas trivia game for my family. And of course, we couldn't get it to hook up to the TV, and it was a whole fucking thing. But when we finally did, 45 minutes later, the question that I got was, he said, who directed The Nightmare Before Christmas? And I buzzed in, and I said, Henry Selick. And he said, I can't believe you got that one wrong. And then I had to, in front of my whole family, 4 bourbons in, explain to them that, no, Henry Selick was the director of Nightmare Before Christmas, and I can prove it. And it created a weird little tension-filled moment. But
You
I
can
did
prove
get,
it.
I
You
did get
dragged
credit.
out the dead body of Tim
I
Burton.
did get credit for that answer, though. Okay, I'm done.
So, anyways, there listed a couple of surprising movies that
Sure.
surprised me that did not make a list. Ready Player One, Deadpool 2, I thought was better than it had to be. Solo, A Star Wars Story, I thought was
Yeah.
way better than it had to be. I like the movie Tag. On,
Yeah.
on Chesil Beach, I thought was completely unadaptable, and I actually
What's
liked the
on
movie.
Chesil
You know,
Beach?
they based a character on me in that movie.
On Chesil Beach was the adaptation of the Ian McEwan novel. It was Saoirse Ronan, and it had lots of good actors in it. Anyways, it was an English movie, but it didn't get a lot of play over here, but it was really good for what I thought. Like I said, reading the book, I thought was unadaptable. I thought the same thing about Atonement. Atonement's a great movie, but
Right.
whatever. Anyways, people tend to find ways to make good movies out of Ian McEwan things. Anyways, so I will quickly, very
Sure.
quickly,
Oh, it's okay. Go ahead. You got
back
time.
this down. The runners up for like movies I really like this year: Annihilation and Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse.
Annihilation, huh?
Yeah,
I don't know if we ever talked about that on at all. I couldn't remember.
Runner up, just because
I fell asleep.
I thought it was really, even though it suffered from the typical Garland third act kind of faltering. Same as
Not
Sunshine.
Nex Machina.
Some is not Nex
With the
Machina.
exception of X. Yeah.
Perfect
with
movie.
the major exception of Ex Machina. But same as Sunshine.
Yeah.
Had such a great build up and a very, very strange conclusion, but it's almost worth it just getting there.
Yeah, I didn't mind it at all. I don't know if I'd make it on my list, but maybe I enjoyed it. It was worth watching.
Sounds
once.
like an argument you make for, I don't know, a television series called Lost.
And well, so Spider-Man Into the
No?
Spider-Verse I thought was fantastic.
Spectacular. Or
Yeah.
amazing.
There you go.
There you
Just
go.
technically.
There you go.
Using Spider-Man vernacular.
I understand.
Okay.
I saw
Sorry.
what you were doing there.
Sorry.
Infinity War made my list barely at 10
Barely?
because I thought it was amazing, and I would edge it just over Spider-Verse just based off of what it takes to put into that to make that movie.
Unprecedented. It's easy
Yeah,
to write
yeah,
that off,
absolutely.
but I mean,
Yes.
goddamn, that movie is unprecedented in so many ways.
So-
You know,
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm in awe of that movie. Honestly, I need to rewatch it now that it's back on Netflix. But a lot went into that, and Matt and I like to talk about the writing in Civil War.
Sure.
I think the writing in Infinity War was also
Yeah, it was
equally
fantastic.
daunting and just succinct and effective.
100%.
Effective. Productive.
Backing down, number 9 was the documentary "Will You Be My Neighbor," which I found super
Good.
100%
Yeah.
effective.
I
And
cried like a baby.
and I
on
still
the
haven't
airplane.
seen Free Solo because everyone says that Free Solo is going to like completely.
haven't seen that.
It is supposed to be the most amazing documentary against that this year. But anyways, I loved it. Number 8, biggest surprise probably of the beyond my little surprise list was Mary Poppins. I fucking loved it. I thought it was great.
And you know what, Ben? You have a whole top 10, but really, I'm just going to echo right here for a moment. It might be because it's fresh, but truly, Into the Spider-Verse and Mary Poppins were the two most joyful movies I've seen, not only this year, but in a long time. I wasn't choking back tears in Spider-Verse like I was in Mary Poppins. Truly. It was... I liked Mary Poppins as a kid. I remembered it. But it was not a mainstay. It was not super connected to my heart. but I found myself constantly getting choked up and emotional.
Yeah.
And I didn't know how badly I needed to see, and I just want my mom, my grandmother, because they wanted to go, and I wasn't going to say no. And I didn't know how badly I needed to see a movie that was just about love, and positivity, and imagination and whimsy. And I absolutely
sounds like you need to see Paddington 2, just like me.
I heard that was.
I've heard it's really good.
I've not seen it, but yeah,
It has made like the best of, like the best movie of the year on like 4 different lists.
I've heard a lot of good things.
I've heard that too, but I would say I haven't seen it. So what I can say is see Spider-Verse and see Mary Poppins.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
no, Mary Poppins
Everyone's
was wonderful.
And you know what, Ben? I was thinking of you when I saw that movie because you saw it before me, and you said it was great. And I believed you, and I expected to have a good time, but I didn't expect to like it as much as I did. But one thing that I did think about is, you know, if I had kids, that movie, I would be so happy to be in a theater with my children.
Yeah.
To watch that movie with them. And I thought of you and Margot and Luna, and I bet that was amazing to go with them to
over
that
the
movie.
Christmas break, my daughters and I went to see 2 movies. We went and saw Mary Poppins, and we saw Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse.
Nice.
And so I'm winning at parenting
There
right
it is.
there.
There you sure are, buddy.
Anyways,
I have a quick question on Poppins. I haven't seen it. Do you think it's
Hot
an Oscar
Hot Poppins,
contender?
man.
I think it's probably not.
Okay, I'm just curious.
Maybe a Golden Globe,
yeah,
sort of thing.
Okay.
I agree.
Speaking of which, Sunday night, Golden Globes.
Oh,
Yeah,
really? Wow.
it's coming up fast. Anyways,
Listen, we got a hot Poppins, and listen,
hell
no
yeah.
disrespect to Julie Andrews, who was totally hot in the original Mary
They're
Poppins.
both
but
hot.
They're both super hot, just like Gal Gadot and Linda Carter. But all I'm saying is, Emily Blunt. People are saying she had a darker portrayal of Mary Poppins. I wouldn't necessarily agree with that, but she played Poppins with a swagger.
yeah, she was great.
But wasn't mean and wasn't edgy, but played her with a swagger that
it was great.
that Julie Andrews never did, but totally fits, with some surprise cameos, and they really bring back the same style of animation. The penguins are back, things that you didn't think you cared about as a kid. You become incredibly, surprisingly nostalgic.
Yeah.
And it's just well fucking made.
Well,
Rob Marshall killed it. The music is great.
Yeah,
it's
well,
and you know what?
Margot, like my daughter Margot loved that movie. I mean,
Aw.
she thought it was so good. Which, of course, then Luna liked Spider-Man a lot more. Like she likes kind of the edgier, kind of like
Yeah.
faster pace sort of stuff. I mean, like, because that's the thing is like every morning it's always the argument about like what they're going to watch when they get up. Where Margot likes to watch she likes to watch Spirit, like you know,
Luna's Vampirina.
No, Luna likes to watch Teen Titans Go.
Oh,
Like she watches Teen Titans Go every day.
I love that fucking movie. Oh, that show.
No, the show is great.
But
it's
that movie
super fast.
makes my top 25 at 25.
Yeah, it would be right outside. Anyways, quickly backing down because there's going to be crossover with some of the other stuff. My number 7 was Hereditary.
Oh,
just
gotta
a
see it.
fucking great movie, just so good.
Is that on Amazon Prime right now? I think it is.
I'm not sure if it's there yet, but
I think it is.
What a disturbing movie
Not
and
seen it.
so well made.
Don't spoil anything though, because I want to
And
see
it just takes everything I love about good horror with the atmosphere of just you take moments, you take just 2 hours worth of atmosphere, and you take 3 or 4 moments to just pull the rug out from under the audience, and in those moments,
Go to sleep, my little time bomb.
You take the audience's fucking breath away, and that it's just really smart.
Nick, go into a cold. I went into a cold and it floored me.
Awesome.
Yeah,
I'm still pretty cold, so I will.
My number 6 was Roma, which I thought was just absolutely
It was good.
it was incredibly gorgeous, and of course it's Alfonso Cuarón.
It's Cuarón, yeah.
It's a beautifully told
I
story.
thought it was Alfonso Ribeiro.
Funny.
I made Ben laugh, and he didn't want to laugh at it.
I
but
didn't
he
want to
couldn't
laugh,
but he couldn't help
But
it.
it's beautiful. It's so beautiful, and it's you're telling such a small story on this kind of epic stage on this Cuarón sort of stage where it's these long, just immaculately created shots, and it's so weird because there's a dichotomy. A lot of people said because I haven't seen the movie Shoplifting, which is apparently a very similar movie but completely differently filmed. And a lot of people say it's on their best of lists. But just the first shot. I was sold on the first shot of Roma, and if you watch it, you'll see it's just a shot of water being mopped across a floor, and it's all practical, and you see like the airplanes in the reflection of the water flying over. They're taking off from the airport in Mexico City, and it's just one of the most. I was just like, this is it's pure cinema. I mean, he's incredible.
I catch that.
My fifth
I'll
was
watch that with you,
my
Matt.
fifth was 8th grade, and shit.
Yeah,
what did
man.
Bo
It's that hard to
Burnham
watch,
do with that
too, for
fucking
me.
movie?
Did you find it difficult to watch? It's
like pulling teeth.
Yeah.
But in a fun way, almost.
No,
I mean,
no.
like,
Not that it's bad, and not that it's boring or anything. It is hard if you had a shitty. Or
I think Bo Burnham is a hack comedian. I don't like his comedy. I just don't like it. But that
kind of
movie,
agree with you.
But that movie was so
I like the comedy, and I like that
good.
movie.
I don't like his comedy, but I love that movie. I
want to like his comedy. A musical comedy, I love that, obviously, but I can't.
That movie it's a painful movie.
You saw it too.
I watched it on.
It's so good.
I got to see
I watched it a few months ago.
My number 4 was The Favorite, which is
The Favorite.
Favorite.
So technically, at number 4, it wasn't your favorite.
It wasn't my favorite. It was close to my favorite. Just immaculate performances. That is a movie I think could be a dark horse for best director. Because
It's going to win costumes.
Well, yeah, they'll win a lot. I think it'll win a few things actually. Might win.
I've heard some
screenplay,
good things about it.
and I think it will definitely win best supporting actress
For
Olivia Newston.
I
John. I forgot.
Wow.
The woman who actually
Finally,
Newton-John.
she'll get her training day for Xanadu.
Olivia Newton-John's lesser known sister, Olivia Newton-John.
The woman who plays Queen Anne, I forgot her name. She's a
Okay.
British actress, but she is phenomenal in the movie. And everyone says like they feel like she's going to win an award for it, which is very funny because it's very much the understated performance where Rachel Weisz and Emma Stone are just absolutely just clawing for an award with that movie. I mean, they go hardcore at it.
Academy like Stone, they'll probably give her.
Well, the thing is I'm interested in where they actually place her because it's a lead. She's a lead performance.
Yeah.
Her and Rachel Weisz are the lead performances. Queen Anne is the supporting performance there. But anyways, it's a fantastic movie. It's very dark. It's very weird. I'm really happy I saw it on the big screen because it's all lit practically. And like all the candlelit scenes, straight up like Barry Lyndon style.
Paging Barry Lyndon.
Yeah,
there you go.
just like Barry Lyndon. It's everything
You're
shot
a Barry
practically.
Lyndon bitch.
I am a Barry Lyndon bitch, man.
The exact opposite of a basic bitch is a Barry Lyndon bitch.
There you go. My number 3 was Mission Impossible Fallout, which
Oh,
I
wow.
fucking love
Number
that
3?
movie. Number 3
That
of the
was
year.
a damn fun movie.
Hey, remember
I haven't seen it yet.
Skyfall was my favorite of the year when
is true.
When that came out.
My number 2 song of the year.
And 100%, I think that Fallout is not only the best of the Mission Impossible franchise, but it's probably the best movie that Tom Cruise has been in since maybe Magnolia.
Here's a real question. What is your favorite Fallout?
Vagina.
3?
Yeah, 3. 3 is the answer.
Okay.
Three is the answer.
Thought we were talking about
But
butt
follow
for
up.
vagina.
My number
Next best?
two
Next,
is
wait. Next best? New Vegas? I got New Vegas.
2.
Nope, I got New Vegas.
Okay. So, anyways, my number 2 is American Animals.
Still gotta watch that.
Which American
Fuck.
Animals, I think, is also going to be a sneaky movie when it comes to award season. It's one that could win for like adapted screenplay.
I need you to send this list, by the way.
Yeah,
So
I will.
I need to
Don't
watch
worry.
some of these things.
American Animals, I think,
Just listen to the podcast, Matt.
I'm not going to do that, Nick.
might win for adapted screenplay or something along those lines because of the device of using it as because it's a documentary and a narrative film mixed where you literally have characters in the narrative talking to their real counterparts in the documentary portion, where
Like
he's just
American,
no, it's
American
like
Splendor.
American Splendor and
Burning,
very
yeah.
very similar. But in this one, it'll be like a character says, "This is the way it happened," and it cuts to the real person being interviewed, and they're like, "This isn't quite the way it happened." And it's such a great device. Best movie of the year for me was First Reformed.
Yeah, you keep talking about that
First Reformed is probably my favorite movie of the decade. Probably.
Ooh.
It's fucking amazing.
Damn.
I have it. I have that one 100 on my. I tried to get
I've
my
never
family
heard
to
you
watch
talk
that,
about
and they
that.
did not want to. They did not want to watch it.
It's very intense. It's very difficult to watch. It has the one-on-one aspect ratio, which is a very unsettling. I think, and I truly believe this, he's going to be nominated no matter what. But that is the dark horse of this year. I think that Ethan Hawke could win for Best Actor.
And man, I swear, I had heard nothing
I'd like
of
to
that
see
movie.
Ethan Hawke win something.
He has.
I tell you,
it's popped up. NPR's best of their NPR's best of their number one was First Reformed. Cinema or Screen Junkies number one.
And
First
weren't you
Reformed.
telling me he didn't want to take that role? He got talked into it.
Paul Schrader talked him into it. Who wrote and directed it? Paul Schrader, who wrote Taxi Driver.
Not the guy who played keyboards for Letterman.
No,
that's
all right. I'd watch that movie. I'm just saying.
I can't remember his name.
Yeah, I know.
Paul
Schroeder.
No, not
No,
no.
it's very similar though. But
Paul
anyways,
Schroeder, right?
No,
it's something.
Wait, is Schroeder the Peanuts guy?
Anyways,
Plays the piano.
Yes, that's correct.
With Paul Schrader. Paul Schrader.
Here's the thing, Nick. I think that you would really like First Reformed because it's very bleak. I mean, it's a very depressing movie, but it has to do with just this kind of. First off, I know that you get freaked out by religious movies, and
But he loves them.
And it's a very
I love
religious.
them.
It's a very religious movie.
I love him.
He's a preacher. He's a Catholic priest, but it has this whole thing about like. How do you reconcile your faith with what's going on with the world right now?
Love it. Love it.
And it's
love it.
Ethan Hawke, you just watch the role eat him from the inside out. It's
Damn.
just this incredible like tour de force. I have never seen anything like it. It's fucking otherworldly.
Ooh.
And
you spoke very highly of this, so I'm
fired up, buddy.
It is the it's one of the most affecting performances I've seen in years.
Damn.
And it's one of those things where
Will he get nominated?
I think he's absolutely going to get nominated, and I think that just because Paul Schrader is old and is very close to death at this point because of all of his health problems that he's had, I think that Paul Schrader is either going to get nominated for screenplay or for director. He's going to get nominated for
But
one
it
of them.
came out like it came out.
He'll win for screenplay.
It is a dangerous
But it
movie.
came out almost end of last year, right? It's technically a 2017 movie.
No, it came out in April.
In April, okay, but
Yeah.
I mean, like it literally. I mean, I remember looking up on IMDb. I'm like, I couldn't find it because it's 2017. It says, but it's a long time ago. That's the only thing that's tricky with the Academy. Also, by the way, we should let our listeners know Ben Wilson owns a portion of the movie, so he's
Right.
pushing it very, very hard on the podcast.
Yes,
because
no,
he gets some.
watch out!
no.
Oh shit!
Nick, we're almost done.
Wait.
We're almost done.
Hold on a second. Am I close?
No, you're not close. Pull it back.
Are you talking to boy or girl?
Boy.
Okay,
You're a girl.
That's Ben. I'm girl.
Okay, am I gonna pour in the?
Okay, you're. Well, no, move it back just a little bit. Okay, so now what we get to do? This is like the drunk version of Frogger, like. You're trying to get him to pour into the right place.
Is it working?
You're good. You're in good shape. No, I said you're good. No, not you're. I meant you're good as in like where you're pouring.
Tell me when it's coming in.
This is the worst radio
Okay.
ever.
Oh, I'm coming. Oh, you're good.
Oh, it's squirting everywhere.
I had to pour another glass of
Squirting.
whiskey. I'm
I will
squirting.
make you squirt. I literally. So
No one will get that joke.
I
but
need
it's
no. I
funny.
need anyone out there right now. If you want to have a good laugh, you need to look up meme and squirt. SQUART.
Because you can't spell squart without art.
I literally once a month will be like puttering around the house and I'll start singing My Empire of Turn. Everything I know, I will make you squirt.
You don't
And I
understand.
can't stop doing
You
it.
gotta look
It's
it up.
amazing. Nick, do
Okay,
you have
so
any?
now, yeah, I do. I have a
Let's-
top
okay.
35
All right.
for 2018.
I would like to
At
hear
number
your take on
35
Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse.
Okay. Okay, if we're gonna into the Spider-Verse, I can go real quick. Really, the only way to appreciate it is to see it. I saw it with my mom, my aunt, and my uncle. Varied age ranges. Everyone loved it. Everyone in the theater was floored. It's effortlessly inclusive. It's well written. it's animation like you've never seen. It's
our
it's
theater applauded after the end.
Oh yeah,
we had applause in the theater.
It's affecting 3D in a way that isn't in your face. They're not shooting web as a gimmick right in your face. The 3D is more about. Come on,
sorry.
The 3D is based more on depth and feeling immersed in the animation and the style and the storytelling and the acting. It's all on point. I don't know if it's my favorite Spider-Man film because I really do love Homecoming, but damned if a second viewing won't put it over the top because the character of Miles Morales totally carries that film as the lead. When you have a more traditional looking, white Spider-Man, Peter B. Parker,
Jewish, the first Jewish Spider-Man.
You got.
I'm being serious. Yeah, he is. He shows his wedding and he's doing the Mazel Tov.
It's true.
The class.
You got Spider-Gwen and stuff like that. That's effortless. I don't even remember
Spider-Ham.
that. But listen, that's what I mean by
effortlessly voiced by John Mulaney.
Peter Porker, the spectacular Spider-Ham. But that's what I mean by effortlessly inclusive. I don't remember that. It seemed. Everything seemed right, and one really interesting thing was that they kept secret until I saw the film was that Chris Pine is the voice of a Spider-Man. You thought it was just going to be
Jake Johnson
from New Girl, but the way that they do it is very clever, and Chris Pine is the original, what we know as the canon Peter Parker. But when he's unmasked, it was a very clever thing that they did. He's blonde. And it was your first glimpse when you're watching this to say, hey, guess what? Everything you're expecting about Spider-Man, what Spider-Man is wrong. Because the first glimpse you're going to see of the canon Spider-Man is going to be blonde. And from there, you see a pig Spider-Man, you see a Nick Cage Spider-Man, you see a manga Spider-Man.
Well, I have a question for.
Nick Cage also in Mandy. I want to touch on that too, but just so we don't forget. But go ahead. Go ahead, Mike.
I'm worried about spoiling something for the movie, but
man, I don't want to spoil it either. It's
just a little bit opposite of what you just said, of which one is actually the canon one, because it's not Pine.
Oh, it's not Pine. Okay.
It's not. So that's what's interesting. If you, I went on the deep dive on this movie on the Reddit.
At any rate, I think that they imply that that's the canon Spider-Man.
He's supposed to be the embodiment of what you think is like the hero Spider-Man. That everything's perfect.
But he's in the Miles Morales universe.
But all I'm saying is, and the premise is that there are alternate universes with alternate Spider-Man, and anyone can be Spider-Man. You could be a woman. You could be
it's in the
Black
in
Latino.
the voiceover. It's like anyone can wear the
They
mask.
literally said it. Yeah. And it's a great message. And another, like Mary Poppins, was actually very just infused with positivity, even though they got dark at places, and they touch on a lot of different topics. But at the end of the day, it's anyone can be a hero, anybody, and it doesn't matter what you look like or who you are. And that's why that's the brilliant thing about the alternate dimensions, because they could literally bring in a pig version. And by the way, it was a spider who was bitten by a pig.
Yes, that is my favorite thing on it. By a radioactive pig. Yeah, that is the funniest gag in the whole movie.
Anybody can be Spider-Man. Okay, that is the crux of it. And I went in the theater with little girls and little black kids, and I walking out. What? I'm talking. Really?
Is that the way you like to go see your movies?
Right.
Sorry.
All I'm saying is families went to this film, and you could feel that walking out of it, people felt seen. Oh, for fuck's sake! Seriously? Is this going to make your best of 2019 at the?
No, I'm just.
Oh God!
It'll be number one.
Jesus Christ! I mean, it was cool to go to a movie where you feel like everybody's in.
Yes,
everybody's in.
You're correct.
Oh, I'm correct. Okay, Fuck you guys.
I'm agreeing with you. And I think
you can't talk about Spider-Verse and not talk about that.
No, I agree. And I think for me, what I thought was most impressive about it is that it felt to me like a lot of love went into the movie. It was very apparent, and that's not always like. I love the Marvel movies, and I think Infinity War is a masterclass in how to plot and do things on there. And yes, they love the material, but like the Spider-Verse was very much like a love of everything going on. The fact that there's a gag in Spider Pigs one in Times Square that they're doing an ad, not in Spider Pigs, but it's in Miles one. There's an ad in Times Square for Oh Hi, starring John Mulaney, and like there are all of these like silly little tiny gags.
Easter eggs were out of control.
The fact that I can't even I spoil something anyway, but yeah, go watch the movie. It is totally worth your money, 100%. And I'll probably wind up going to see it again in 3D.
And I would say, you know, Ben, you took your kids. It's a little lofty plot wise,
right? But it was way too advanced for them, and I had no idea really what to expect.
But in terms of
they enjoyed
action
it. They loved it.
Yeah, that's just it. In terms of action and violence, it's totally safe to take kids.
Margot loves like female protagonist characters.
Spider-Gwen.
So when Spider-Gwen showed up, she was very all of a sudden got her ballet shoes.
Love Spider-Gwen.
Where meanwhile,
those teal shoes,
Luna was just cracking up every time that Spider-Ham showed up.
Yes. Nick, I hate to do this. I think we may need to hold Mandy for next time. We're way long. Little long.
Way long.
Well then, Matt. I mean, are you gonna get to something here?
No. I kind of talked about a lot of the things that we've discussed over the year. I think have hit on kind of my top 10, and I don't know what my top 10 is yet because I have not seen enough of the things out there.
I gave
really
a preemptive top 10, but
to do it.
I figured there would be some crossover.
I mean, I'll say it right now. I think Vice will be on my top 10. Spider-Verse will definitely be in my top 10. Avengers, Infinity War will be in my top 10. I don't know what else is rounding out that top 10 right now because there's a ton of really good shit I need to see. 8th Grade probably will wind up on there. But yeah, I don't really know. Now I also, Nick, have a secret file that you told me to have, and I want to make sure
thank you for remembering.
I wanted to make sure that you had time to do that. So is that a good thing for us to close on?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think so.
So Nick sent me a file. He said under death, penalty of death, to not listen to it. I did not listen to it. So hopefully the sound levels are good here. But I'm going to play Nick's secret file right now. All right.
Matthew Shank, happy birthday, buddy.
Oh, boy.
I want you to know that I see you as not just a friend, but as a brother. And I love everything about you.
Say that at your birthday, 40 years young, almost a cliche. All these jokes will betray. Trust you have this song would go your way. Makes me queasy how you used to spank it to Tom Hanks. Matthew Shank once got so drunk that he ate dry cat food.
Did do that.
And he knew he tried to warn us about the future. You better stop making trouble. What would you do if I made some corn for you? Matthew Shank is so genteel till you challenge his ideals. He fell asleep, almost burned down his whole keep when he tried to make pad thai. Just as consciousness slipped by. Matthew Shank.
Happy birthday, buddy.
Thank
Happy 40th
you
birthday.
very much. Very nicely done. I like that. The harmonies.
So beautiful.
The beautiful
Well,
harmonies.
so here's the problem: is like every time I record something, Nick just knows he can come in on harmony. Every time I try to come in on harmony, I know he's already recorded it, so I'm just like, there's no fucking point.
I thought about it, but I mean, I could never have done that live at this point.
Oh yeah,
I love you.
Blindfold, this amount of
I
bourbon,
love
no.
everyone in this room right now. You guys are my best friends. I'm so happy we got to record on my birthday after a filling meal of Bud's chicken and seafood with, of course, chicken fingers and crayfish fries and
corn fritters.
And
They got cod.
we didn't try the cod, but they do got cod, lots of it. But we want to thank you guys so much for listening to the New Way podcast. We have a ton in store for this year.
Hell yeah.
I think we're going to be doing a lot more of kind of sequel episodes, which I want to do another fictional character dinner party. I definitely want to do another tertiary character movie pitch, which we did a long time ago, which I really liked. So those of you that are out there that are new listeners that we're hopefully getting now, please send us ideas for things you'd like to hear. We know Greg and Ryan are listening, and David and Haley and a lot of new people. Tell us what you want to hear us talk about. What do you think would be funny or fun or interesting for us
readings.
to? We definitely need to have more erotic readings. That was one of my brother's favorites, other than Nick's Beetlejuice musical, which my brother is attempting to pitch to Alex Lacamoire, who did the orchestration for Hamilton. So we're crossing our fingers that one's going to come through. Thank you so much for listening. We will be back hopefully soon with another episode of the New Way podcast here in 2019. We're happy to be here and we're happy to have you with us. Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers.